Hi everybody, this is Ryan with the Farm2Table Direct Show, and we're sitting here at the Okie Homestead Expo with the Okie Homestead Expo with the guys that are responsible for this. It's Kevin and Rachel from Hidden Heights. Yeah, I want to get them. And Dutch and Brandy from over here. And so from Keeping It Dutch and Hidden Heights Farms, and they're the brain children behind all of this this great expo that we've just enjoyed the last few days. And of course, they've each got their own YouTube channels and their own homesteads and kind of what they're about. And so just kind of wanted to introduce them to everybody on the show and kind of get a chance for them to talk about what they do and kind of how the expo got started and why y'all wanted to do this.
Okay, so as far as the expo goes, this is the second year. We started last year in March, and then we decided we never dreamed it was going to be as big as it was last year, but we all come together and kind of talked, and we're like, hey, this was a big hit last year. There was a lot of like-minded people in this area, and we actually had people from all 50 states come, so we decided to do it a second year, and that's why we're here. But a little bit of our past is Rachel and I have been married 20 years. We've been raising goats for 15 years. Doing the basic farm life, basic homesteading stuff, but we were always also trying to learn from other people. And that's why we kind of put all this together, trying to bring in all these other skilled, knowledgeable people. And then Sean and Brandy, I'll let them talk about it and talk kind of about their past.
Yeah, so we've been married going on 16 years. Mm-hmm. And I knew once we started having kids, I was in the Marine Corps, so I had that self-reliant mindset. Right. I know you said you was in the Marine and the Army, and getting out of the Marine Corps gave me that self-reliant mindset, like, hey, things can go south really quick here in America. We live in this thing I call a bubble, American bubble, that if you've never been outside of America, you don't really know the real world, because America isn't the real world by any means.
No, we're isolated out here.
100%. So when I got married to Brandon, we started having kids, I knew we wanted to start raising our own animals, just for the fact things could go south. And plus, we wanted our kids to know where the meat comes from, that not just from a grocery store, that we can raise these animals for meat. And you can actually love your animals too for pets, and not eat them all, right, Brandon? You don't have to eat them all.
For sure.
So we get the fresh farm eggs. That was something I wanted to do for my kids, bring them up in that sort of environment, the homesteading, the farming. And then as far as this expo, how it came about, Kevin and I, we all grew up in Mays County, and there's nothing like this around our area.
Right.
And we all are like-minded doing this for so long. We just got together and we wanted to bring something to bring the community closer together. So we're not the only ones that are preparing to be self-reliant. We want the community to be self-reliant also.
Absolutely.
Because the more they are, the less threat it is to us.
Absolutely. That's something we've said on our show quite a few times. It's like, listen, each person that's preparing is one person I don't have to take care of or worry about. And so, absolutely the community, and that's something we push with our show a lot, is about keeping things local and developing those relationships with local providers, local people who raise animals, or local people who grow vegetables, farmers markets, whatever, but in trying to develop that community, because that's
I think one way we've been blessed is with the social media aspect of it.
Right.
We have connections that they've built over the years where we're able to get some top-notch people our first year, our second year. So we had that growth quickly, to be able to we're blessed with the connections we have to bring them to our, to our event.
Right. Well, I know, just from us, we became aware of y'all, a few months ago and started communicating. And, when I seen the second year and I read the first year, 3,500 in one day, I'm like, oh my goodness, that many people are interested in this. That's great, And so, as we kind of watched y'all's situation and I began to kind of check out where y'all were at, that connections, like Doug and Stacy being here and that type of thing that draws so much attention. But, and I said, personally, I just want to thank y'all for putting it on. Because it's awesome. We live a couple of hours from here and there is nothing like this where we're at. And my wife, who's in the background hiding, same thing. She goes, we need something like this at home. And I'm like, well, let's go see what this is before we jump off this bridge. But no, it's great that y'all are doing that. And I know y'all have gone full-time YouTube, right? Or that y'all have. Okay. I get them confused.
I haven't yet.
You haven't yet. Okay. You're still. Oh.
Like, who's who?
Right.
People think they're brothers sometimes.
Well, friends act that way, right? But anyway, so y'all went full time then on that. Okay. So wow. So that's great. That's awesome. You're able to do that. Spend more time on the thing, because I know you're in a balance of having a job and having to do that too.
And a job, and then social media, having the farm, and then like Sean said, trying to go back to the basics of life, like our ancestors, our grandparents that had no choice to live. You know, it could easily fall back on that any day. So bringing all these people in with this knowledge, and you know, maybe some of these people that come from the city, people that don't have access to any of their elders or anything to teach them some of the basics of life, they can come here, sit in a class, and kind of learn.
Right. Well, you know, and that's, I think that's an important thing that, you know, we read books and stuff. I know I do, I research, and how much of that stuff's gotten lost, you know, and I think about my grandparents, and, you know, who came through the Depression, raising kids and that type of thing, and what that was. And, you know, they've all passed, and you know, and my dad was the last one that could have taught me that, and he's passed. So now I'm having to go find that information, or talk to a neighbor, or talk to somebody. And so I think it's important that what y'all are doing to bring that community together in one place. And I mean, I was just amazed, really honestly, at the amount of knowledge, the amount of people around here that I got to talk to today. And I know my brother talked to yesterday, that are just one foot in front of themselves each day, trying, you know. And so I'll ask you, I mean, if there's anything out there, I mean, y'all are homesteaders outside of this. What's something you would say to somebody that's thinking about this lifestyle?
Oh, absolutely. You just have to jump in.
Right.
Just go for it, because the more you think about it,
Right.
the more intimidated you can get. So start small.
Right.
And if you can find a expo or conference such as this in your area, it is absolutely worth it. It is absolutely worth it to see the community, to get to know a homesteading community, a farm community to connect with, because like Kevin and I, our property is not good for cattle, but we'll go to the walkers when we need a butcher steer,
Right.
or someone else. Sean and Brandy do the same thing. It's a community where you can learn and barter with each other, because it's very hard to be completely self-sustaining
Right.
with everything.
You know,
So
when we got into our show and we started talking about this stuff a little over a year ago, that was an illusion that I guess kind of I already knew was an illusion, but it was still a common thing I would hear was self, you know, all about self, being, I'm going to do this on my, I don't need anybody else. And coming to find out, I didn't talk to me. No, that's, you can't do it that way.
it's very, very difficult. And that's another thing, you know, with our expo, we wanted to help beginners, like give them this confidence so they would just jump in.
Right.
So it has really helped educate anyone that's wanting to learn. We've had so many people say, hey, we started a small goat herd after last year, or we started gardening, and it's just really just kind of gives them the extra push to go for
A
it.
little bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And the networking.
People to know to do that.
People, you might be good at something, but you can meet 10 other people that are skilled at something that you have no idea how to do.
Right. Okay. You know, and that's, I think that's important. You know, I mean, sometimes knowing our limitations. I mean, you know, and I know, like in my particular cases, we're getting started, I'm limited on space. I don't have a large amount of acreage, so anything I do has to be done on a smaller scale.
And it's very possible.
Right. And well, I've come to learn that. I mean, it's, you know, that I didn't have to have, you know, a 50-acre place or a 20-acre place to do it. That, you know, my 4 can do it. You know.
Yes, that's the beauty of YouTube. So if you could think of it, it's probably already on YouTube.
Right.
So we raised quails a few years ago when we lived in another house, and I showed people in the city that you can raise these quail in no space. I did it in my garage for like 8 months.
Right.
I raised all these quail. And then I had people messaging me saying, hey, we've been raising quail in New York City on my balcony. And they're sending me pictures of them eating them in their balcony. They raised them, hashed them out, raised them right there in New York City on their balcony.
Right.
Went in there and cooked them. I was like, because my videos of showing them you can do it in
Right.
no
Small space, right?
Yes.
You know, that was something we got inspired with, and I started doing myself, was to try it, and that was container gardening, because currently I live in town, I'm a subdivision, so I don't have real estate to really play with. But I think all my containers are all in about a 6x8 little square on the ground. You know, it's tomatoes and all the things, you know, just things I would eat, and to try it. You know, because we're at the show and we talk about people doing it, and we come to experts who do this stuff, or we point to experts, but we haven't done a lot of it. And it's like, okay, we got to start trying this ourselves and showing it or talking about it. And, you know, so to find others that are willing to share that information and willing to kind of put it out there a little bit, so to speak, and invite people into your lives, you know, the way y'all do, you know, and because like I've been interested in y'all's the rougher side of y'all's property and kind of where the clearing and stuff is at, because it's different. You know, you're going out on where electric isn't,
Yeah.
or where where the 911 doesn't get there, or whatever, and so that's good. But listen, guys, hey, I appreciate your time so very much and what y'all are doing, and certainly look forward to working with y'all more in the future as things go forward. And looking forward to Expo 2024
awesome.
already.
Like, let's focus on finishing today, but my brain's already thinking.
Right there. So say still got to close this down and get all this put back up for a while. But and of course y'all mentioned y'all are from Mays County, and I was reading stuff. I mean, it sounds like the people in the area have really gotten behind y'all as well with it.
Yes.
Yeah. So and hats off to y'all's recognition to the law enforcement local and everything as well. And yourself being a service member, former service member vet, and that.
Well,
Thank you for that
one
service.
thing I'm going to say with that, we also want to be super family friendly, kid friendly. I mean, you can hear them running
Right.
around. And so that's why we also know a lot of homesteaders have a lot of kids.
Right.
We don't want them to have to go be broke to get to come here. So
Right.
it's really important to keep the kids free where the whole family can come enjoy it. We have friends from church. They brought 11 kids with them.
Wow.
The 2 adults just paid because it's like we want it to be all the generations learn,
Right.
and people can't afford that.
Right. Yeah, it was real cool. I noticed. I checked it out there, and I'd seen ahead of time. The kids' corner and
Yeah.
having the pettings there, that stuff where they can kind of have their space. And one of the things I was in being in the expo barn out here, and even in there, was just the openness and how easy it was for everybody to just go and experience it.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
glad you liked it.
just got to get this wrapped up. We're towards the end of the expo, folks. It's it's been a great. I can say today, my brother was here yesterday, and definitely, I don't know what the numbers will be on the turnout, but it looked like a real good turnout, and certainly enjoyed meeting all the YouTubers and meeting y'all guys face to face instead of just an email. And
Yeah.
but anyway, we appreciate very much your time. All right, everybody, Farm2Table Direct Show here with Hidden Heights and keeping it Dutch here at the Okie Homesteading Expo. Like we always say, prepare for the unexpected and keep it local.